Robert Zoller is considered the father of the Alaskan Malamute. He is responsible for the breed as we have come to know it today and has a very intricate history with the beginnings of the breed. Robert Zoller served as a naval officer in Newfoundland during World War II and was impressed with the appearance of fierceness and power, yet gentle disposition of Alaskan Malamutes. He went to Chinook Kennels, home of Seeley's Kotzebue Malamutes, to look at Malamutes but found them too small. At some point, Robert and his wife Laura were put in touch with breeders Dick Moulton and Dick Hinman. This visit led Robert to purchase his new puppy, Kayak of Brookside. The Zollers decided they needed a second dog to keep the active Kayak company. Under consideration were an Emerald female from Seguin, Texas, sired by Moosecat Emerald, bred to Eyak, a daughter of Mikiyu, and Tosha, and a show-quality male and female, both at Hazel Wilton's kennel. When they could not make up their minds, they decided to buy all three. The dogs became Husky Pack, Micaiah of Seguin, Apache Chief of Husky Pack, Geronimo, and Arctic Storm of Husky Pack, respectively. Zollers bred Kayak both to Mikya and Arctic Storm, who was a daughter of Spawn's Alaska. Mikyak's litter was not so satisfactory, but Arctic Storm's B litter had Buccaneer, Blackhawk, and Banshee, all of which became champions. Geronimo won Best of Breed the first time he stepped into the ring. He was an accomplished sire, producing 3 champions in each of his 3 litters, which is an impressive achievement for any dog. Robert Zoller was well aware of the differences between Imlute and Kotzebue dogs, as well as the strong rivalry between the two camps that sometimes blossomed into antagonism. Zoller saw virtues in both Imlute and Kotzebue dogs. Robert Zoller felt very fortunate to have started with the Hinman-Irwin dogs. He has credited the presence of Hinman-Irwin dogs in his pedigree, with giving some balance to Imlutes and making a better dog overall. Still, Robert admired the look of the Kotzebue dogs and was actively seeking one for use in breeding. Then came along Roy Truchon of Roy L. Kennels. Roy sent a letter to Robert informing him that he had seen a dog type the Zoller needed with handlers in Nebraska. Coincidentally, the Zollers had already turned down buying the dog for the same reason that they turned down Spawn's Alaska: too many males. The dog was Toro Bras of Coot, and Zoller immediately wrote to Earl Norris and had the dog shipped to him for breeding to Arctic Storm. That breeding was the sort of click that often happens when 2 dogs of different strains are bred together. One puppy of the 6 was never shown. The rest went to finish championships with a show record that is still enviable. Clicoot of Husky Pack, CDX, Cheyenne of Husky Pack, Cochise of Husky Pack, Comanche of Husky Pack, and Cherokee of Husky Pack. Unfortunately, both Arctic Storm and Comanche contracted hardpack distemper at a show and died. This tragedy left the Zollers without a breeding partner for Toro, but they did have Arctic Storm's brother. Trying the same thing in reverse, the Zollers bought a female from Norris's Kellerack of Kobuk. Out of the brother-sister breeding of Toro to Helen, Kellerack bred to Apache Chief, produced Husky Pack Eagle, Husky Pack Echaco, and Husky Pack E-Rock. These crosses continued to produce well, not only for the Zollers, but for other breeders across the country. After so many successes, the Zollers decided to retire from breeding and showing. Their decision was based in large part on the desire to keep only as many dogs as they could comfortably fit as house pets. While Robert and Laura Zoller were busy raising their dogs and children, other Imlute owners were going their own way. Some remained loyal to the original lines, but the success of Zoller's crosses could not be ignored. A few repeated Zoller's Imlute Kotzebue cross, but many found using the Husky Pack dogs more palatable. The name of this Nordic primitive dog was given after the Malamutes, an Inuit tribe from the upper western region of Alaska. Today, this tribe is known under the name Kobuk. These native Eskimo people actually developed this dog, who is considered to be the most beautiful of all the polar dogs. The Alaskan Malamute is the biggest of all the Nordic sled dogs. Adult males can grow up to 27.5 inches, 70 centimeters in height, and can weigh up to 100 pounds, 45 kilograms. In the recent past, the Alaskan Malamute was used a lot less as a working dog and has become a family companion dog who is known to be particularly nice and careful with children. Unlike a Husky's coat, the Malamute's thick double coat has not evolved enough to withstand high temperatures and tropical climates. One of the oldest Arctic sled dogs, the Alaskan Malamute's forebears used to use them to hunt seals, chase away polar bears, and pull heavy sledges loaded with food and camp supplies. During the long history of this breed, Malamute dogs have been involved in some of the most noble human endeavors. They were loyal companions of prospectors and miners who came to Alaska in 1896 during the Klondike Gold Rush. Also, Malamutes were aiding Rear Admiral Richard Byrd in his expedition to the South Pole. In World War II, Malamutes in Greenland were used as rescue dogs, while in the same period in Europe, they were used for hauling all sorts of freight. Although Malamutes are very similar to Siberian Huskies, which are known to be fierce competitors in mushing competitions, they are rarely used for dog sled racing. They possess all the qualities needed for this kind of competition. They're agile, strong, and highly endurable dogs with great senses. But the main reason they aren't used as often for dog sled racing is their size. However, they often compete successfully in weight pulling or dog agility trials. The Alaskan Malamute is currently a member of the AKC Working Group and was first registered by the AKC, American Kennel Club, in 1935. During World War II, most of the registered Alaskan Malamutes were loaned out for war duty because there was a great demand for sled dogs. Tragically, many of them were destroyed after serving their nation on an expedition to Antarctica during World War II. Arthur T. Walden established the Chinook Kennel in New Hampshire and began breeding Alaskan Malamutes. He and his successors, Milton and Eva Seeley, supplied many dogs for the Byrd Antarctic expeditions in the 1930s. The Seeleys began a program to reproduce the dogs found in the Norton Sound area of Alaska. This strain of Alaskan Malamutes has become known as the Kotzebue strain. Their high prey can cause a Malamute to stalk and kill small animals, including birds, squirrels, cats, and even smaller dogs. They need to be properly socialized and introduced to other companion animals. Generally a quiet breed, Malamutes rarely bark. They do hold conversations with you, vocally expressing themselves as woo-woo sounds or loud, extensive howls. Alaskan Malamutes are notorious diggers and love to carve out nice-sized chunks of your yard if given the time to. The Alaskan Malamute is believed to be the descendant of the domesticated wolf dog, who accompanied the Paleolithic hunters across the land bridges of the Bering Strait and migrated into the North American continent roughly 4,000 years ago.